Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Hey.
What is up?
What is going on, gentlemen?
We got the famous Will house today. What's
Yes,
up, bud?
sir. Here I am.
Yeah. Now, Will, is that a new spot? I don't remember that office from before.
This is my house. We
This is
moved.
Yeah.
My wife painted my office black or
Okay,
something like that. It's
I
going to
think
be.
last time you may have been on the couch.
I don't know. So it's going to be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's still all over the place, but we're going to get it right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
how you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. It's been a while. It's nice to
A
see
little bit,
y'all.
yeah.
This season is here.
It is. So
Billy, I feel like it's been I feel like it's been 2 years since we had a conversation.
I bet it has been, man.
Yeah.
I bet it has. The time flies. Though it seems like yesterday, I bet it's been 2 years. I bet you're right.
Yep.
I feel like, hell, I probably bothered you more and talked to you more than Billy has the last couple of months.
Hey, man, bring it on. Like I said,
Yeah.
our goal is to get into the SPL, the demo scene. We're making some moves to get that happening. So Jimmy, I'm going to be hopefully having some conversation with some people, depending on how this launch goes of this new product.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Will, so if it comes to something that you don't want to say, you just sidestep it somehow, okay? I'm going to ask you, what is it, when you say going into the SPL and demo lanes or getting into it, what does that entail for y'all, man?
So a lot of our customer base is smaller subs, daily listening, pretty technical. This is my goal. I'm a very DIY big time, so a lot of like audio, how a lot of audio people are these days, but very capable DIYers, and so a lot of tech support service is a lot of what we're known for. A lot of the big builds, they sound great, everything like that. And but my goal is to get to the more of the carefree power handling products, where they're heavier moving masses, higher power handling. And so the new product we have coming out is a 3.5-inch coil, that kind of balance between a 4-inch and a 3-inch coil. And then to keep the power handling, it is one of the longest coils out in the market that I'm aware of. We're at about a winding length of about 86, 87 millimeters. So there are some woofers out there longer. But whenever I compared them, I couldn't find another 3.5-inch coil as long as ours. So I'm hoping that we have enough surface area for a heat sink, heat dissipation basically is what that coil is acting like. And, there's many concepts to the coil, but yeah, man, trying to get out there, get into the demo lanes. We got some big builds coming out this year. I have 6 pallets coming in as a production test run, so we're gonna I'll actually be, we're gonna be talking about a pre-sale probably tomorrow, and I can even give some detail about that today. I was trying to see how to post pictures on here, but it doesn't. It limits me.
If you want to actually do some pictures or something like that, Billy, I would say the best thing to do is, because Billy's really keen with it, is just give the pictures to Billy and he can post them up for you.
Yeah, but listen, I don't know if you have it on your end or not. You're on a computer, it looks like, but where it says present or invite, that is where you would that's where you would share a photo or whatever, if you got it on your screen or whatnot.
So I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have both. I have both up.
Yeah, you can send it to me if you like.
Yeah, if you're on your phone, it's a lot harder to do that. And heck, sometimes it's harder to even see the comments that everybody's commenting and talking to you. You don't see it on the phone.
I'm not a comment person. I don't like to read it. To me, it's distracting. It throws me off too much. I'm too ADD maybe for all that. So,
right.
And it messes up. I don't want to get in my own head because.
Well, you've had a couple people in here say hi to you and say that they're excited. Audio Fracture 1068 has said, quite a few things about you, and he's excited to see you in here tonight, and yada yada yada.
Yeah. All right, I'll take it. Well, thank you everybody for joining. I appreciate the support. I'll take any support and compliments I can get. I'm getting older.
Well,
and
do a good job, man. You guys do a good job. I bet y'all get compliments regularly because you should.
Absolutely.
We do, man. I mean, for us, we really do we do virtually no paid advertising, none at all.
And
Everything's word of mouth, and we don't even do crazy things social media wise, so
yeah,
everything is just straight up. Hey, I heard about y'all. I tried y'all out. And I mean, many of our customers are repeat. And then the people who do have a big problem with us, I look at it as an opportunity to gain knowledge. So anytime I hear someone with a big complaint or even trolling us, I reach out to them, let me know what's wrong with our product, and
yeah.
and
The bad part about it is most of the people that put on any hate or any trolling don't know shit about the product to begin with, and that's what irritates me. It's like
Well,
they're talking a lot of steak or a lot of crap, because they're a nut hugger of another brand. And I'm
Well,
not
I'll
gonna,
tell you
I'm not
this.
gonna say
This is
that.
the honest truth. I mean, I live right here close to you guys. I personally have never heard a bad word. Never in my life have I heard a bad word. And
Not about
I'm
the
right
brand
here,
at all.
you know?
None.
hey, bro, I mean, I'll take it. I don't know if
Yeah.
my camera went away because I had to get out of the app to send you a photo,
It
Mhm.
is.
but yeah, man, it's we're excited about it. I apologize, I'm multitasking right now.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
you're good, dude. You're definitely good. We just appreciate you even being in here and coming on tonight with us. So, we
Yeah,
don't. That's
and
one thing good about mine and Billy's video or podcast that we do here. We're not scripted. We don't follow any rules. We just kind of fly by the seat of our pants, and we kind of try to have fun while we do it. Yeah, I don't know where. I don't know exactly where that's at. I apologize. I don't know if it's under something or if I need to turn up something. I don't know. I don't want
What's
to.
that, Jimmy? Oh, you're fine. I hear you good.
Somebody said that I need to turn my mic
They
up,
may have been talking about me.
but it's sorry. I apologize if I'm low.
hey, you told me to duck out if I don't want to talk about something, huh?
Yeah,
Right?
well, I mean, hey, do
Yeah.
what you
Okay.
gotta do.
So Will,
I'm a modest man. Too many compliments are coming. No,
right?
I went to go send y'all a photo, and it won't let me minimize the app. It exits out. So
I
that's
got
it.
you. So tell me this, Will. If you said you looked at some other voice calls, and I don't care about other brands, what I'm curious about is what is that? Would you say the average length of that wire on that voice call of other brands? Yours? You said yours was a little longer.
Yeah,
What?
man. So first off, Jimmy, I sent you a photo because I wanted to jump back in real quick before instead of finding Billy's name. So if you don't mind, just forward that to Billy.
Give me one,
Uh,
give me one second.
so,
Yes, sir.
yep, and then so I mean, I see them. So 4-inch coils, I commonly see them being a little bit shorter. Now, I hate to say this because there's going to be a counterpoint to everything, right? But I see a lot of 4-inch woofers that have a little bit of a shorter coil because they get away with durability because you just have such a large diameter going for them.
Yeah.
But I commonly see woofers between 60 and 75 millimeters in length. So just to give y'all reference, an inch is roughly 25 millimeters. So our winding is almost 90 millimeters. So we're almost we're about 3 and 3/4 inches of actual wire length. So that's a lot of wire there. And again, it has a large 10-inch spider. So I'm just trying to do everything in my that I can to keep as much as that spider diameter as usable excursion.
Yeah.
So that's why we went with the 3.5. I didn't want to go 4, and there's so many good 4-inch option woofers on the market. I'm like, what am I going to do with that? Even if I come up with something that's competitive, performance wise, marketing is going to be something crazy. So yeah, 3.5-inch woofer is, 3.5-inch coil. I get a lot of people that are very excited about that because they tried 3, they tried 4, they stuck with 4 just because they want power handling. But I got a lot of people saying that they're ready to give that 3.5-inch a shot.
There's a couple companies out there that do the 3.5 and then the 3.75 as well, but and
Yeah.
I personally know a couple companies that actually do pretty decent with it. So I think it's going to be something that you're really going to enjoy and probably make a killing it with a good market that you have.
Yeah, man. So I just sent you a photo, and that's what I've been talking to quite a few people. Hey, what is it going to take to get us out there? Things like that. And for me, I don't have marketing figured out as well as some other people. And so my angle is not to have a marketing campaign just because I don't know.
Did you get that photo, Billy? Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay.
Yeah.
I clicked to open it, but it opened it in Photoshop beta. Let me figure something else out right quick.
Yeah, so I don't know the marketing side. If anybody's watching this pod and they know how to be crazy, or they want to troll other people and and with our product, I'm always down for that. But yeah, so my goal here is to basically just kind of stair step it, get the woofer out there. We're gonna offer some ridiculous low prices.
Can you see that comment, sir?
Do what, Jimmy?
I was asking Will if he could see that comment.
He's not looking at him, he said.
Well, I know, but he should be able to see it on the screen because I shared it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. What am I looking at? God.
Well, just look at the regular video there. You should see right there. You should see what the guy asked. The regular prototype coils has 81 watts, a burp, and the production is.
He must mean 8,000.
Yeah, 81,000. Sorry, I apologize.
Well, 8,100. 81,000 would be sweet.
Right.
But yeah, so I guess it's Bruce Hart.
Bryce.
Right,
Yeah,
it's Bryce.
Bryce.
I'm sorry, that is Bryce.
Yeah, man. He's that's a good dude right there for sure.
Being a little dyslexic there for some reason.
Hey, it happens. It comes and goes. Don't let it bother you.
Boy, it does sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. I just, Billy turned me on to you about 5 years ago. And then, I also got a cousin up here in Missouri that runs your stuff too as well, So, it's ever since I've, been around and watched your product and watching your stuff, I've actually been pretty impressed with everything.
Great, man. Look, I really appreciate it. Y'all's feedback means a lot. I used to talk to, man, me and Billy ever had a beer, or me or you, like I'd be talking your head off about, and I'm sure y'all get these questions all the time. What's the best woofer? Which one gets the loudest? What's the best enclosure? Because y'all see all the data. Billy, I remember, man, 3 years ago you were talking about making a database, but you said, I think at one point you said it got so crazy because there's so many variables. Like,
it really is, yeah.
You think it's enclosure, then you have the vehicle, then you have the type of amplifiers, because just so much go into it. And look, I'm opening this up right now, so yeah. I'm about to show y'all what's up here.
I was actually hoping that you had a couple new products there that you could show us, so that's cool.
Yeah, I wish I would have. My wife, actually, I got shelves at this house, so I need to put some woofers on the shelves. But yeah,
you gotta have the first production line sitting at your house now. Come on, that's how
I know. But I did that, but then it kind of turned into a junk room because you know how it is in business. You seem to take care of everybody else before you take care of yourself. Like I got a stock system in my vehicle. Going through high school, we used to install so many other systems and do some badass things. And I had the most ratchet duct tape speakers in my vehicles. And they're like, bro, how do you not have a system? I'm like, I spend my time on everybody else because they pay me, right? So I can't turn down the money.
Yeah, there you go, Billy. Sure.
Yeah, hang on. Let me get it. I got to mirror it. Let me figure out that right quick. Did it? No, I didn't need to mirror it, did I? Or did I?
No, now it's backwards.
My bad. Looked at it too fast.
That was
so right. Yeah, man, we're looking at pre-selling these suckers for less than $600 a woofer. And and I'm like, if I'm gonna invest money into social media, I don't know the return, and the purchase rate, the ratios, all of that. I've done it many times, and boosting stuff just never has done well with me. Maybe because we don't have we never had outrageous subs. So a lot of what we did was sound quality-ish more, so not really bass you can see. So now that we're kind of trying to get into that, I need to get it out there. I need to get people talking. So we're going to do a low pre-sale, get it out there. Even the new product pricing and the retail pricing, we're going to keep low. My goal is going to be tight, low margin on that. So basically anybody looking to purchase, a beefy sub, they can get it from us, basically for warehouse rate, low. And and it's not going to stay there. So as soon as we start moving them, that price is going to slowly move up to match, what it takes to for a long-term scalable business model. But right now the name of the game is getting the word out.
Well, I'll just go ahead and say, and I mean, not that it matters a whole lot, but you guys know I'll always stick behind good products or good brands, and I'll definitely stick 100% behind this brand. This brand is actually a really good product, and and customer service is pretty amazing too as well. So
Yeah,
definitely
look,
100% support this brand.
I get heat from my own team. One of them even said, "Man, I'm surprised you had a breaking point." Basically where. When are we not going to help the customer? Because we had some people that just, whenever they tell you want a solution, you offer it at an exceptional rate, something that doesn't even make sense for us, because I believe if someone's loud, then they'll be loud in defense of us, if we can convert them and support them. But anyway, yeah, so I have, for all of our products, rebuild kits. We have, we have just as many rebuild kits as we have woofers, things like that. So it's where we're prepared. So if anybody has any issues, the worst thing is whenever you have a blown woofer and you have 6 of them, and then the company says, "Oh, they don't have any more kits." Well, that sinks your heart right there,
Just let everybody know if they're anywhere down around me or anything like that, or they need any help or need any recones or their subwoofer redone. Just let them know. Bring them to me. I'll take care of everybody. And there's pretty much not a sub out there that I haven't touched or reconed, and I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, if you were doing anything with the sub, we'd be pretty passive with you. We'd get you whatever you need to make it happen. But
yeah, absolutely. I don't mind helping people out. So I'm not one of them guys that's gonna charge you $100,000 to recone the sub. If you get the parts and bring them to me, half the time I'll even teach you how to redo it yourself, or maybe even get you a little bit further along than you were before you came to me. I don't mind helping.
Yeah. Oh my God, bro.
Let me know.
You got to be careful with these things, bro. You squish yourself, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What's that, a 15, sir?
Yeah, this is a 15. Oh, Lord.
It looks like 3.
What does it weigh, Will?
Huh?
How much does it weigh?
Right at about 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right?
What is that? What is that? 3 magnet slugs?
Yeah, 3 1-inch.
3 1-inch slugs. Okay.
Yeah, 3 1-inch with a big back, with a bumped back plate.
Okay.
So I could have gone 4 slugs, but I chose to spend a little more money and do the bump back plate to keep the woofer, save some weight there.
Absolutely.
So and I just love the look of a bump back, a nice extended back
Yeah.
plate.
Yeah, it does look cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a thick top plate. We got a 10-inch spider. And I always like
on your spiders. How are your spiders? Are your spiders bolted down or are they glued down?
They're bolted and glued.
Bolted and glued. Well, because a lot of people are actually going with just bolt down spiders now. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I really do like it, especially being someone that recones a lot of subs. But sometimes I kind of wonder the longevity of it, as well, because a lot of people, are not even gluing them anymore. They're just literally just bolting them down.
Yeah.
And to me, that's kind of a little scary to me. Man, that's a nice looking sub.
Yeah, bro. The pole piece is channeled for improved airflow and surface contact area. We got a heat sink on the top of the pole piece, plus an air guide to give that less friction of the air going around. So forced air cooling, of course. We got the channel cooling, so it's all about surface area. So that's why we have that long winding, because your voice coil is metal. It gets hot, so it's a heat sink. Among many other things.
Can I see closer of your spiders?
Let's see. I don't know if you can really see much.
I mean, I can there a little bit. Yeah. Okay. You're using the plastic ring in between your spider layers.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Which, I'm going to say I like it, but I also don't like it as a recone guy, because every time them spiders break, they're a pain in the ass to replace sometimes. So make sure that you have plenty of them little plastic rings for replacements for when people blow their subs.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
No, man. I mean, I got
Unless they already come on the recones, I guess.
No, they come fully. Everything's fully aligned, prepared. So a drop in is a drop in.
Oh,
a
you're
full
sending up.
100% drop in. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't do all those pieces. So I always try to focus on scalability as well. So if I can get someone to do the assembly part, then that's less for us to explain, less chances of error on our side. So that's where we're at right now. But no, man, that thing's massive. It's a monster. Like I said, we could have gone 4 slug, and that thing would have been even heavier. But that would have looked good because people look at weight as something like that. But
They do.
I like that bump back plate. Cute, yeah.
No, I mean it's a really nice looking sub. I mean everything I can see of it, it looks really nice. It's got a nice beef heavy surround and everything like that. Like I said, I'm a fan of the bolt down, being that I recon a lot of subs, but I also, like I said, sometimes I worry about the longevity of them. And that's just the people that only bolt them down. But if you're gluing and bolting, I mean, heck, you're getting the best of both worlds there. So.
Yeah. We shall find out. The proof is in the pudding, So
Right.
that's why I want to do that low pricing. And like I said, if something happens, we got a whole bunch of rebuild kits. We're gonna be taking care of people.
Yeah, Michael, this might be a subwoofer for you because I know what you like and I know you like your music as well. But this subwoofer is actually going to take a beating, so definitely holler at me later on, Michael, and maybe I can get you set up with the right person.
So I've been playing with the graphics and stuff. Look, I posted the graphic on Base Wars right quick. So if you guys want to look at it, if you can't see because it's too small here,
which one did you post?
The one that you sent Jimmy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you just announced our pre-sale, so we got to get the website. I got to turn the website on tomorrow. Don't take it down. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, way to light the fire under his ass, Billy.
Hey, look, so you performed the best when under pressure.
I didn't really read it. I just tried to see it.
Well, he said it a minute ago. He was like, I haven't really shown anybody else, but I'll show you guys here.
Yeah, my bad.
Well, it's okay. It's not a nude or anything. I can live with it. I'll make it work.
Yeah.
Watch, you're gonna have a bunch of your team guys are gonna be bitching because we announced it before they know about it.
Yeah.
Or if they don't already, but
yeah, man. No, I got a lot of excited people, so I'm excited. I hope to run out as soon as possible. I hope to run out before the pre-sale is over, but we'll see.
So I got more questions. What makes you want to do that? What makes you want to go that way? Is anything in particular?
Which way?
To these beefier subs than the ones you had already.
So say that question again. You asked me what made me go big.
In other words, what makes you want to make a demo sub or SPL sub versus the subs you already had? I mean,
man, like I said, music, bro. I mean, so Keith Payne built us a sweet excursion.
I remember that.
And we went to shows. It sounds great, everything. But man, when we went to Scraping the Coast, it got loud, but man, whenever you're out there and you're at a high level event like that and you just have nonsense around you all the time, loud is loud until you're around a loud crowd.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we had 48 tins in the excursion that Keith built, and it was exceptional. It was responsive. The bass would hit you in the chest because those were
good music.
Yeah. Because that was an old school build. Will Savard, it was taught to me about that, and then Keith just took it to a whole nother level. So then from there, we put 15s in it, and then it sounded great. It got loud. It got deep. But when you're at a show like Scraping and you're living, at max volume, and that heat is just basically you need an air pump with heat sink. I said, you know what? If we're going to go to these shows, I can't to be a brand. I need to be able to maintain if that's the goal that I'm going after. And so everything's a tool in the shed, right? So for this project, I needed the right tool when it came to the subs, and that's what this is right here. So I'm very excited. Like I said, you're going to be getting a unique 3.5-inch coil with one of the longest coil windings out there for the 3.5. Now, again, there's many out there that are longer, and there's always brands I never heard of, right? So, I mean, and if someone wants to tell me I'm wrong, please DM me. I want to know because I always like to glance at other products. I can't remember details to save my life, but but as long as I'm aware, that's always good. And I don't want to be saying nonsense, So, but from my research, having an almost 90 millimeter coil length is up there, up even close to the nightshade. And I don't know much about their product, so I'm not about to act like I'm an expert in them,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the spiders, I guess. So, what I know it'd be awesome for them to work together. So, does the voice coil length or the spider limit the movement?
Yeah, man. So the spider, whenever you come to these stock TI baskets, the spider and the mechanical throw is going to be your limiting factor. So you won't even really be able to use. We went beyond the mechanical capabilities of the sub with this voice coil.
Yeah,
because
mechanical
I find that
that's good for motor force, right?
Well, I don't. What the main goal there was cooling. So as long I wanted as much surface area as I could.
Move.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I could just go to a 4-inch coil, or I can go to an 8-layer. But then I was thinking, well, if I kept the 4-layer but made the coil even longer, then you get more surface area. So that 8-layer is a thicker coil, right? Extra windings. So I just kept the 4-layer but made it extra long, so that way you got to take advantage of that extra, actual net diameter of the voice coil that you get. I mean, of the spider that you get to use. So that's the trade-off. That's what's great about a 3-inch coil is you get extra travel, you get a little bit more excursion before you start feeling like you're hitting that stop wall, right? So that's why we went with the 3.5-inch coil. I figured if I could go in the middle of that and meet the middle, and get the extreme of the length, then you have that balance. And like I said, at less than $600, I think it's going to fly off the shelves. We'll see. We need to make sure that it performs well. But in our prototypes, everything's been doing very well. So I'm very excited to see where we're going to be.
And honestly, if for most everybody listening to this probably knows that clipping is what kills most subs.
Yeah.
But so doing what you did, it seems like when it does clip, it could still move a little, right? Because it's not bottomed out.
No.
It's going to have some inertia movement, I guess, right?
Yes.
So still moving, it might help with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's different levels of clipping, and you hear about different amplifiers like Tera amps or some of those types of amplifiers clipping a little bit harder. Maybe they don't have the capacitors in them that support a little bit of that backup voltage capacity, and I'm saying again, I'm not an expert in amplifiers. I wish I knew more, and I plan to, because we're looking at that as well. But man, I mean, anything that you have to increase your ability for the coil to cool, I'm sure is going to help with any of that. So now, of course, if you clip so hard that you you break the wire and you create an arc, I mean, I'm not sure how much of a coil, how a bigger coil is really going to stop that from happening. But again, educate me if I'm wrong, but that's where we're at, and we're going to have 9 of these in the excursion. So we pulled out the 15s. We went from a 4th order, we went to a 6th order baseaholic design. So everything that Keith Payne did before has stayed in the same. The only thing that's really changed is we knocked out the interior baffle walls, changed it to a 6th order, and I had Low Life Audio and Lafayette do that. And he's a beast out there, man. Those Cajuns, they don't play when it comes to bass.
They have some really nice. I see them on Facebook. They have some really nice builds too. It looks really good. They seem like they do good work. I never heard any of their stuff, not a lot of it, but it looks good from what I see.
Yeah, I have a 6th order designed by Drew too as well. So
yeah,
I know it does really good.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's those boys down in Lafayette. They show up, whenever you have shows. It's a lifestyle for them, and it's exciting. It's contagious.
We did a lot of shows there in Lafayette there for a while, and I mean, we would have 80 people at the show. We would have more than that, but we have 80 runs, which is unheard of for the area, in our experience.
Right.
That's a lot.
No, I've been to a few of them. I remember seeing the lines and people waiting. So I think I saw Jordan. Is it Jordan usually does that area? Yeah.
What's the RMS on them?
Yeah.
So Man, so that of course, there's many variables that affect RMS, and I'm always torn on how to rate an RMS woofer because people perceive it in many different ways. So, because you could have a balance between musical, demo, whatever the case is, because some people think RMS is music, some people expect RMS to be true RMS, which is a straight, you know, consistent tone, or even more technically, a pink noise, or running through the speaker. So we are actually finalizing all that, building multiple enclosures right now to get all that finalized. But I mean, of course, easy 2,000 watts in my opinion, RMS, true RMS. So if you have 10 of these, then you're looking at least 20,000 watts true RMS amplifiers. So and just cooking these things. So I'm shooting, once we do our test, we could be 2,500, 2,750, and I'm gonna rate them conservative, because in my opinion, I'd rather under
Yeah.
rate and overperform. So that's my goal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, once you
Yeah.
get it all up and ready and everything, let me know, and I'll probably snag a 10 from you for my daily driver.
Yes. Yeah.
You will find out quickly what they will hold with the people around Lafayette and in Louisiana, because they're going to max it out. They're going to burn them up, but they'll know what power they was hitting when they did it.
No clue
Yeah.
at all. No clue at all. And that reminds me of that old meme that I used to see all the time. A gain knob is not a volume knob.
Well, I intend on doing that a little bit with these things, So that's so yeah. We're so, and then we had another guy out there, Brandon Meir. He's going to be doing 10 of these in his Suburban, and he has 5 8Ks that are going to be on them. So I have 2 Ruthless 12Ks that I'll be running. So so yeah, we did have Sound Digital, but we took those out. We're going to be doing Ruthless 12Ks. We're upgrading to a 400 amp battery bank. And I don't know if y'all seen on the Facebook on the Savard official Savard group page. I am not good when it comes to cosmetics and design. Even whenever it's our house, I let my wife take care of that. I follow instructions. But if it's functional, I'm all about it. I can make an ugly thing work well. But for the Excursion, man, I guess I'm looking at doing like 20-inch rims. I think I'm gonna go gold or bronze rims on it, and then we're gonna wrap it logo gold, bronze, and try to do a sleek, cool look. I'm gonna black it out, so everything's gonna be blacked out with probably a satin bronze metallic.
Which wrap actually won? Because I seen that you had like 4 different ones on there. Which one actually won?
I got a lot of feedback, and I don't feel qualified enough to make that decision. I just know what I need is a designer to just put together something and say, I hear you. This is what I think you want. And I need to see a picture. When it comes to cosmetics, man, I can't. I think I don't want something, and then I see a truck driving down the road. I'm like, okay, that's pretty badass, and it's flames and everything. And I'm like, I would never want flames, but I see it done really. There's a right way to do things, and with cosmetics, I don't know that fine line, and I'm severely colorblind. So that when I used to do installs, before we started having the products produced, I used to do installs, and I'd have to get a team member to check my harness wires, make sure that the purple is with violet, green, blue, all that. I have to make sure it's all matched, before I put it into the customer's vehicle. So, hey, part of being successful, I guess, is knowing your own limitations.
Know your limitations. That's right.
So,
yes,
but luckily now, like I said, with scalability, I have people that double check me. I never do any, in all aspects, it seems.
So is Lucas still involved? I quit seeing him a little bit.
No, man.
Seen him a while.
No, he's out. He's doing his thing, man. He's all up in it. So he's actually he's been working on a classic series. He really wants to bring back a true 300 watt subwoofer, the old school low moving mass, super soft 25 with an FS around 25 hertz, but light moving mass, everything, and it has its place, and I'm very interested in that too.
Well, there's some people in this world that are creative, and there's some that's not. I am not, but Lucas, he is, isn't he?
Yeah, man. He has. Are you talking about cosmetics? Or are you talking about with what?
Any of it. That dude is
Oh,
creative artistically. I've seen,
oh yeah,
right?
man. Well, he does all of the images, and
Yeah,
now
that
he's
dude is good.
yeah he's playing with the AI, and stuff like that. So, and I mean, this Woofer, the show that we have coming out, and by the way, the series of this new Woofer is the show. So SHO,
Oh,
which is
that's
super.
good. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super high output is what it stands for. So we have our host series, which is high output. This is super high output, and then the next one after this is going to be the Max series, and that one's probably going to be around 4 or 5K RMS, and that's just going to be a ridiculous one. But because then I have people, whenever I was talking about doing this or a 4-inch coil, they're like, "Well, you need to go bigger, 6-inch." And I'm just like, man, I don't even.
No, no.
Maybe one day.
I got 5-inch coils, and I've got I've seen people do all that, but
5-inch, really?
yeah, there's the biggest thing is people don't understand to run them massive coils. You have to have massive power to actually make them things really do what they need to do. So if you're running 25 to maybe 4,000 watts, a 4 or 5 or a 6-inch coil, you're not going to wake that sub up, and then you're going to be so disappointed, and then you're going to start blaming the manufacturer. You have to have power to run them coils.
So,
I'm going to put a bigger coil in there. I'm going to get louder. No, you're not. You're going to lose because you don't have the power to run that bigger coil.
right. So, Will, I'm going to ask you, and I've asked nearly everybody this, and everybody's given me an answer to where I can understand it, right? And I get that I just don't understand. But so what is the purpose of being able to dump a bunch of power to a sub? Okay, so let me get this. So an efficient sub, low power, you get you some sound. And since we're about SPL, let's just talk. Let's say a low power efficient sub gets you to 145, right? So at some point, you got to upgrade your sub, I guess, to take more power so it gets you to 150, let's say. I don't understand the difference of where that breaks up. By that, I mean, so why would I want to buy a sub that holds a crap load of power versus a sub that doesn't? If the sub that holds 1,000 watts, I can get whatever SPL. What would make me want to buy a sub that would hold 2,500 watts, but it costs me so much more money and it takes me so much more power to get that same 150 or higher?
Yeah. I'm sure there's people that can explain this far better than I can.
Well, I've asked but I couldn't. I grasp it not from any of them.
Okay, so let me just start off. Let's start broad. Is of course everyone has their own goals, right? So it's how good can you make bass sound? How loud can you make bass sound? What's frequency range? How broad do you want to be? How narrow? So again, it's all goals. And then what is anything in life is a compromise. So no matter what woofer you pick, that's a compromise because you're giving up something else somewhere else. So again, it all goes back to goals. And so every decision in life is a compromise because of opportunity cost that you lose in whatever variable that is. But of course, the higher power handling, you're able to use more power. So even with the same excursion, you're able to get that cone moving faster. So it's like,
so it's a faster, harder punch.
Well, yeah, you can move 12 inches and then you'll break through a piece of paper, or I don't know, or have the time that it takes you to get to excursion and then return to rest, and that's
what power does for you.
And then more power, you can move that same distance, but with a much harder pump. So then you can move that woofer extremely fast and get it back to rest. Which means a stiff suspension. So to control that power, you have to increase your stiffness in your suspension. And then to move that woofer, you have to increase the power handling, which means weight, everything. All the arrows are going in the wrong direction to make that woofer move easy. So now you have to add more power, but then now you can move it faster because you have all that accessibility to handle power. Now, a lot of woofers, you can have a 500 watt woofer that you can make it move fast, but for how long? And that's kind of where we were. So that's why we have this here, because we want you to be able to move fast for more than just a couple beats. We're talking demo style. So really what it is there's many factors. Moving the woofer further also moving the woofer further for longer. And that's where it was, is a lot of our lineup so far, it was handle power on music. It would sound great. But whenever you're at a show and you're using rebased music and you wanted to hold that SPL for that duration, that's where it was falling short, especially in southern heat. You're already hot. Your cooling coefficient's down. Because you're cooking at 100 degrees. That's why I say scraping. If your vehicle can survive scraping, you're tried and tested.
You're good anywhere. That's right.
That is a nasty show. And I know there's a lot of them, but the scraping is the one that I'm familiar with.
No, my friends up north, they like literally won't bring their camera equipment down because of the heat humidity.
Yeah, man.
It's inside the lenses and messes up their $high lenses.
Yeah, go work out, go get in the gym, sit in the sauna, get used to it a couple weeks before.
Boy,
Yeah, no doubt.
Here I went down there and kicked my butt.
And a lot of people say they're like, I ain't coming back. They just
Yeah.
can't.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot going on at scraping. It's not just audio, right? So you got a lot of nonsense going on. Squatted trucks everywhere. You got to watch out.
The first year I went to scrape with the coach, Drew Jones got fucking heat sick, and he lives down.
Yeah,
so
man. Hey,
let you know how bad it really was that year.
Look, it happens to the best of us, man. But Billy, I don't know if I answered your question in a way that really helps, you know. So
yeah, I think I did kind of grasp something that I hadn't thought of before when I asked the question, and that was the fact that sometimes you can just tell power with anything, whether it's me pushing this, so like I can push on it and move it, or I can push up, feel it that I'm not going to stop it. And I think that's the key that I probably haven't been.
And I see, and I saw it best explained one time. It was a post, and someone said, check out this beast. You know, it's probably like a 4,000 watt sub, and they're looking at it's probably 212s or 215s with a 12K. And someone says, this is stupid. Why would you do that? And the best answer I saw was because power is so cheap. I mean, nowadays you can get look at Ruthless. I mean, look at all the Brazilian amps. Look at any of them. I mean, even the premium expensive amps now, compared to 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I remember whenever I was doing installs and in the Rockford Punch 300 and whatever the ones, I remember that gray amplifier was the thing to get, and it was $1,000 for 600 watts or whatever it was, but
1,000. I still have one over there.
And it was a bit of a cheater because it would clamp 1,000 watts, but now you're paying a grand 1,500 for 10K, and I'm just, I'm like, yeah, I mean, so you can go in at the same budget of a daily build before, you can now get these monstrous numbers, and I mean, people like with our prototype here, we're hitting 153 with a single 15, and I mean, it's just. And at a lower frequency, nothing crazy, but that is it's a different game. So the cheapness of the power, and Billy, because I used to have that same thought process: is why need such a big woofer when if you're smart, you build it to where the woofer moves easily naturally, so you get the same cone movement. So both woofers have the same travel like a JL. But I'm doing it with a lot less power. Like I love JL. That's one of, if I don't use my own speaker, JL is one of my go-tos of looking to use their product. And because I believe in their concept. I believe in, so same theory, light moving mass, soft suspension, that thing moving 700 watts. You're making that thing jump.
Good music.
Now it's moving this. Now with this thing, you're moving the same distance, but you're pumping twice as fast. So you're really able to just slam it, and then that's what gets your SPL numbers, things like that. And with these tight designs, you get forgiveness. So Billy, Jimmy, y'all know, 25 years ago, enclosure was everything. Not only because of how loud you get, but also you don't want your speakers to flop. With the wrong enclosure, you're bottoming out. You're
done.
It's not even you're blowing your coil. The woofer's bottoming out, and you're smacking it. Physically, you're destroying it.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. I like a woofer that you can destroy with the wrong enclosure. But with today's industry, with today's market, again, who's the boss? Not me. The industry. The market's the boss.
Right.
And if I fight the market, I'm playing a dying battle. Right?
You're gonna lose.
Yeah, so it took me a long time because we when we first started producing stuff again, we came out with our Pro series, Again, moving mass, light moving mass, things like that didn't move, or we moved it, but whatever. Then I was like, okay, well, we'll try doing the 8s. We're going to try these beefy little 8s, whatever, because they're heavy and move. What did they say? Cone area is king. And I was like, okay, whatever, we'll try it. Bam, things started flying off the shelves. 6.5s, 8s, monsters. And here we are, monsters, So,
Yeah.
The market is the king, but I still have my passion, which is old school, so I still, isobaric designs, what Luke is doing with the classic series that he's designed, so that's going to be people who want that transient response, quick, dynamic bass that you can hear the difference between notes. You can hear the difference between high and low sounds within the music. And
That's what I love.
Yeah, and then you can make it isobaric if you want a small enclosure. So then you get the best of both worlds. You increase the power handling. You're doubling the moving mass, but also the motor, everything like that. So you still keep that old school. And I mean, some of my favorite designs. I mean, we've had people. We've done with our pro woofers. We've done so many ISO builds because people want that old school, and there's really not many places in the market to go get that. So.
Yeah.
That's and we have some people doing some crazy ISO stuff even with this big stuff. So we're going to see how that turns out. But regardless, my goal is there's a certain piece of the pie out there in the market. We're going to continue to bring out products to expand that piece of pie. I want as big of a piece as possible with what's available out there. And even then, I wish, if we came out with the mid-bass series last year, which is exceptional. That same concept, light moving mass, super soft suspension. We have a neo and ferrite version, and it is a true mid-bass driver, low FS, warm sounding. Everybody calls a lot of pro drivers mid-basses nowadays when really they're upper mid-range, if you want to call it that. They scream in your face. These pro mid-bass woofers are cream. They are smooth.
Actual mid-bass.
Yeah, man. So, and that's what I find most systems are missing these days is the mid-bass.
Absolutely.
And I find sometimes that, people are throwing these crazy amount of wattages and things to that is because they don't want to redo their box or their enclosures, or they don't know how to maybe redo them. And, you buy a sub and put a bigger sub in there that's too small for that enclosure. How do you get that enclosure loud? You throw a buttload of power to it. Instead of redoing the enclosures or things like that, once you get to be where you're too small for the enclosure, you throw an assload of power to it and you're going to get it loud. And sometimes that happens a lot because, say somebody goes out there and buys a vehicle that's already completely done and they buy a sub that's been done for Reliant sound vehicles. And, and they decide to put Kicker or Savard or, just whatever sub they decide to put in there, but that's not what it was built for. You have two cubes of airspace in there and they put a sub in there that requires 3 or 4 cubes. To get that sub loud, you're having to throw an astronomical rate of power to that sub to actually make that sub work and to do what it needs to do. So that's why, when you said that earlier, boxes and enclosures used to be the thing, it still is. And that's the problem that everybody doesn't understand, and they don't want to spend time and effort. They would rather just spend, I'm going to just go buy another amplifier. I'm going to go buy this. I'm going to go buy this. Put a little bit of work into your box. Put a little bit of work into your enclosure. Test, tune, tweak it. Put some 45s in it. Take some out. Put another layer of baffles on it. There's a whole bunch of little bitty tweaks and tunes that you could do to a vehicle or to a box to give you more of everything without having to throw thousands of watts to a subwoofer.
Yeah.
Will, maybe you can enlighten us on this too. So that box is to help with compliance for the sub, right? That's a big function of the box, right?
Yes.
So what do you think about that? When you talk about swapping subs, the importance of the box when they talk about swapping subs, what do you call the parameter of a sub, yours or any other, is the stiffness, all right? So that if you were going to switch subs with an enclosure that you built for one, you'd want to switch with a sub that is close to that one of that parameter. What parameter is that? I don't know.
So I look at a few, and I know a lot of people like to look at VAS and a couple different parameters, FS, things like that. But One of my favorite parameters is CMS, which is the moving mass of the woofer.
Yeah.
Because you can predict you can predict a lot of how the woofer is going to sound simply with the CMS. I'm sorry, hold on one second. I'm about to see.
He's like, hey, let me make sure.
Yeah, wait.
Well, yeah.
Hold on one
So,
second.
I thought Vice also, right? But once again, I am often wrong. So
Well, VAS. So the VAS is, of course,
that is the hairspring, right?
So
That
you
is
have
basically of that,
the VAS. So you have the QMS, the mechanical, the factor of the woofer. So that's the suspension system, right? So you have the suspension system, the mechanical. So QMS, the mechanical system. Then you have the QES, which is the electrical system. So how much effect does your electrical motor force have on the suspension of the driver? So you can increase your magnets or increase the force there to tighten your suspension electrically, right? And then you have mechanical. So you have the surround, you have the spider, all that kind of stuff.
So you got to compare a lot of things.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of factors there, and then you have, of course, so the CMS. Hold on one second, I'm throwing myself off here. QMS, CMS, the MMS. I'm sorry. So when I said CMS earlier, I meant to say MMS. So the MMS is the moving mass of the driver. I always traditionally like a lighter moving mass, but of course, when you're getting into these builds with windy systems, things like that, getting that moving mass there, and today people aren't hitting 60 hertz, they're not hitting 45, they're getting down into the 20s. So again, naturally, I always like that lighter moving mass, but when you're talking handling power with that tight suspension, that moving mass naturally makes that woofer move. So of course, we had the mass control disc back in the day with Bill. So whenever he had the high Q series, all it was the wrap or the pro, just with more mass. And so whenever we're dealing with some systems, sometimes we take hot glue or epoxy and we add more weight to the cone to make it perform like in truck boxes under the seat. So we increase the MMS. And then the CMS is how much the woofer moves per watt. So that's kind of, to me, the efficiency or how easy the woofer moves per amount of power going to it. Kind of what we were talking about earlier. So I'm sorry, earlier I mixed up MMS and CMS. But so that's a lot of what I look at. Now, whenever we start getting into massive, huge systems, honestly, I have not built enough big systems. Like a designer like Bassaholics or even like Noisy Boy. That's who we used to use him a little bit back in the day.
Joe Price.
Joe Price. So there's a lot that goes into when you go into a big system like that, Bill. I'm not qualified enough to tell you what makes or break whenever you start talking about a huge sixth order or something with massive woofers, and then it becomes your whole cab, right? So now when it's small systems, it's a little bit more predictable, but you hear many times that, these base design softwares, people put a lot of credit in them. And a lot of times it's not even right, So I see people who are much more knowledgeable than I am talk about these systems. And they talk about what the models show, and then they just speak freely and say, look, I mean, this is almost nonsense because it says that the woofer won't do well in this enclosure when it's been our best performing woofer in this enclosure. Right. So especially whenever it says how it's going to perform fourth order versus sixth order with today's spiders and in the moving the spiders and the amount of power going to them, because the parameters change drastically, as the woofer excursion increases, because the force is changing. It's not a soft spider moving with soft power, So
I think
that's a question that I figured y'all would have a lot of input back to me. Again, what's the magic sauce? What are you finding? It seems to be because everyone thinks sixth order, but I don't know if that's the case because I've seen some fourth orders really.
I will say, in my experience, the fourth orders are louder. The sixth orders are more musical and more windier. But that's my personal opinion. But that's what I've experienced more in my line is fourth orders are more nasty, more louder, and a hell of a lot more violent. And sixth orders are a lot more windier and a lot more musical.
Well,
To me, and that's my opinion. My opinion. Don't roast me, people. I know everybody's about to do it, but don't roast me. But that's my opinion.
yeah. So I will tell you that nobody has a software program that gets it right. And this is what I'm telling you is every person that does this,
They tweak it.
they say they build it big and they shrink it till it works.
Yes, 100.
It gets a little bit hairier when you go with a 6-order because you got 2 ports to deal with, right? And those people that I believe the people that are really good on the meter, I think they maybe make those the both ports work at the same frequency if possible, right? And those that want to be windy, they have that figured out. RPL gave me some ratios one time that just sends it off the hook.
Okay. And I mean, how many times have you seen where a guy, then you have the people who have dialed in enclosures that are perfect, and their opinion is I can take any woofer, throw it in my enclosure, and it's gonna hit 160s, So, but that's also too because a lot of woofers are similar stock parts these days, So, but with that being said, enclosure, to your point earlier, enclosure still is king. I was speaking more in reference to, nowadays you can take these woofers, put them in a baffle, put 2,000 watts to them, and they're never going to bottom out, But back in the day, the enclosure is what protected your woofer mechanically
we had sealed
as well. So
still. I mean,
really, that's when I asked that question. That's what I was trying to kind of point out that most of the enclosures are about the compliance for the speaker, and that's why I asked you about that suspension. Is to really point out to people that suspension or to keep that speaker from flopping when you put too much power on it is kind of the goal there. But you want to go as much as you can without doing that.
Yeah.
But when you go off frequency, then you flop. In a 6-order or a 4th-order,
We had somebody in here a little bit ago ask a question about what was your RMS for your mid bass?
For the mid bass series that I was speaking about?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we rate it pretty conservatively. I think around 75 or 100 watts. But I mean, we have people who blow past that on music. Like, we have people who burn up some things because their crossovers aren't set right. So, subsonic filters, things like that. Again, it is that old school mentality, new school technology approach there, where it is an easy moving woofer. So we'll treat it with respect. The cone's going to move. It's not a subwoofer. So cross it over at that 45 hertz. It's designed to play low. So it's that gap between your subs and your mids that always is missing. But it works in a sealed enclosure. It works in a ported, man. And it is a very musical. It naturally gets that mid bass that most mid ranges miss. So that's where it's at. It's an exceptional mid bass. And if someone's not happy with it, man, I'm always very supportive to take things back. Because it's very subjective with audio. I can type up the best description for something. People feel they connect to it or they don't. Or I miss out. So and if you're not happy, you're not happy. I love a good, give it back. I'm so confident in my product. I'll take something back if it's not the right fit for you.
Yeah.
So, and I always try to help people out. That's and word of mouth again is where it's at. We lose money sometimes, but again, I consider that a version of marketing as well.
You're definitely one of them companies that I like to say that is out there that cares about the customer. Not only cares about your product, but you care about the customer too. So just like you said, if someone's unhappy, bring it back. You'll work out or you'll do something.
Hold up though. I don't want 100 returns tomorrow showing up. So y'all need to exercise with reasonable judgment, please.
Reasonable judgment, yeah. But I mean, it's still, that's pretty amazing though. It's this day and age to find a company that still stands that strong behind their product.
Well, and Bill told me
I want to say this too. A lot of people probably don't know, Will, that this company's been around for how long?
Well, since 1965. I think it was originally incorporated in 69.
Right.
Bill was at LSU. He used to build enclosures on his front balcony at apartment complex, and he said there would be sawdust everywhere, all over the vehicles, and he was asking, he's like, well, how has no one complained? And they're like, because they all want your speakers. Back in the day, when you moved into a house, one of the first things you got was your stereo, your amplifier, and your two columns. The bigger the columns, that was your flex.
Right.
that was what you did.
Yeah.
So man, that was a fun time, I'm sure, to be in quality, into audio.
Yeah.
And so so I was about to say that Bill, I remember he has quite a few stories where he would hear other products and he'd say, well, damn, they got something here. And then
Yeah.
a year or two later, they'd be out of business. And part of it was service and support, people not using the product properly, things like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I always say, man, if there's anybody out there that knows the marketing side of it, that knows how to get those ratio rights on, if you spend so much that you get a return, I'm always happy to hear it out. I'm always willing to take a risk, try it out. But
I mean, when it comes to numbers, Billy's pretty good with numbers. I'll tell you that right now. Billy's pretty good.
I wanted to point out too, y'all. Bill is Will's dad, so Will's second generation is Savard, right? So the company's been around a long time. Ain't going nowhere, right? It ain't going nowhere. And Will, I was going to ask you this too. What airspace are you looking at on those subs?
For the 15s?
Yeah.
So that's what we're playing with now, back to the power rating. So we're going to be trying a few different sizes and variations, but
still working on it.
Yeah, we're still working to finalize it. But again, like anything, you can use a little smaller airspace, obnoxious port. Jimmy, I mean, it's you can find that balance of the trade off of what at what point am I lacking efficiency by turning it into port versus net airspace. Then of course you can go large, right? Because we have people who put a 15 and 6 cubic foot enclosures because they want that natural heavy warmth base.
Yeah.
But
That
their
big
power
boy
handling
bump.
sacrifices, right? But that's where they're at. So that's always the thing when it comes to recommended power handlings and things like that, because people will do what they want to get the sound they want, and then they expect the consistent outcome. So again, if we rate it at 2250, 2,250 watts, that might be a safe all around worst case scenario. Rating.
If you want to go too low,
but then we're talking about internet here. So you go on Amazon, you list it, and you see 2250, and then the other one is a similar woofer with even a shorter coil than ours, rated at 3K.
They're gonna buy 3K.
So, but again, that's always been a struggle, though. That's been the case forever. So,
with our community, they don't care what you put on.
Yeah. So
they're gonna pay no matter what.
and I think it really just comes down.
That matters to them more than anything.
It comes down to being a self-aware user. Use it, warm yourself up to it, find out what frequency, because we have builds that at certain frequencies it gets warmer than others, things like that. And so you just got to learn your own build too, because we've had people who have, just speaking openly, who have not been happy with the product, and we have people who claim it handles double easy within rated. And
that's an enclosure right there.
It's the same woofer, and so and again, crossover settings, and sometimes it's weird. You ever change an amplifier out and everything's the same, and you're just like, wow, it just came to life, and you don't even know why, because there was some internal filtration issue for whatever the case may be. So unfortunately, we're dealing with electronics, and then you start adding high current electronics with heat and all these different things going on. It's just, and then once you build a system, you think you're dialed in for years, and then things happen. Like, I can't remember how many times I've diagnosed so many things. The problem happens again, and it's a completely different reason. Bad RCA versus bad amplifier.
Right.
But the result was this strange, weird tapping noise or clicking that you could hear, and so that's where it's at.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's so many variables, man. There's so many.
Especially with the basic systems, things can happen. One day everything could be perfectly working, and the next day your RCA could be going out, or your head unit could be going out, or a speaker wire could be going bad. And it's just you're really surprised on how common or how normal it is for things to go bad, or things that you wouldn't even remotely think of. How's an RCA going bad? It's plugged in and it's being plugged in all the time. How's it go bad? Well,
literally a couple months ago, I bought a new amplifier, things like that. And I said, you know what? let me before I install all this, let me check that RCA just because it happens. And sure enough, a $2.50 little RCA jumper was the issue the entire time. And I
Right.
just spent, this money buying I bought a new EQ. And I was just like, Lee. So
You're
yeah,
right.
man, always remove as many variables. With the new phone, I used to love the aux ports because I could just plug straight from my phone to the amplifier to see how it sounds. But I need to get a converter now. I just need to do it. But
Yeah.
but anyway,
You need a talk box. Yes.
yeah.
I'm telling
So
you, look into the VL or the VLF by DD. I'm telling you right now, I love it. And Jamie and a lot of them guys have talked me in. They helped me put it in 2 weekends ago, and it helps you maintain the gain and everything off of multiple amplifiers in one setting. So you can take I think it's up to like 10 amplifiers and hook them all into this one box, and you can set all 10 of them amplifiers off of the one box. And I mean,
Yeah.
and
So,
you don't have to worry about setting each
well,
amplifier.
I think I saw Duncan make a video
ZBL, yeah,
about
sorry,
that.
ZBL, that's what it is.
yeah. So, Will, what did you say you had in the excursion now? Subwise?
So Low Life Audio in Lafayette is putting in. We're going to be putting in 9 shows.
9 of those.
Shows. Yeah.
On 2 Ruthless 10Ks, 12Ks?
12Ks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Ruthless is, they help us out a lot in California with, out there, we have to pay for locations a lot, and they help a lot with that. So I'm not saying what I'm about to say to you just because they do, but that's another company that I haven't heard anything bad about.
So I mean, there's drama in every sorts on the internet.
I'm not saying he ain't all over drama.
I went with it because I wanted durability.
Yeah.
And anytime I message Ben, he's been quick to respond. So to me, everybody has their personalities, but when it comes down to doing business, he's been very responsive to us.
Yeah.
And
well, he's definitely into the social media, be it good or bad. but as far as the product goes, I have yet to hear even one person say anything bad about his amplifier.
I would 100% stand behind that as well too. I mean,
yeah.
He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy.
I think the arguments probably have been around technicalities, right? But no, that's why I went with it. I wanted. I'm somebody who likes to be carefree, so that's one reason why we came out with this higher line of subs. Because if our goal is to be out there making noise, I want something that's going to be able to align with that, even if it's lacking efficiency a little bit more than the old school or the softer suspension type. Also, that's why I went Ruthless. I wanted something in Ben's mindset is he wanted something that you can basically throw trash at and it won't kill. And that's what I wanted too. So my voltage isn't probably as high as where ideally it would need to be. I think we're kind of charging at 15s, where maybe I think with Ruthless, some people recommend being closer to 16s or higher. So, but that's fine. That just means I'll be running a little cooler. My efficiency might be a little higher, so that's where it's at. And for now, I'm fine with that, which I'm sure, in hindsight, you're always like, why didn't I just do it this way from the beginning when you start trying to get creative? But,
well, you have a big battery, right? You got a lot of amp hours, right?
We have 400 amp hour. So with 2 alternators. So we'll see what happens with that, so I'm very excited. We're going to step it up cosmetically. And so I have some homework. I'm about to have to jump here because we just had a newborn. I got a 6-year-old running around. We have a newborn that was born less than a month ago.
So
already
my wife,
yeah. Yep. And so my wife's being a champ out there and I can hear him destroying the house.
Well, take on off, man.
Listen, look, hold on. I got homework though. So I need a bass knob for the excursion. I think I'm looking at LF Audio, the one with the little digital oscilloscope screen on it. So that way you can make sure that you're not clipping. You can watch the wavelength on there, and it's wireless. I'm a little cautious about the wireless part because I'm afraid someone's going to walk away with it.
Phenomenal. Everybody loves it. All my friends have it. I'm one of the ones that don't have it everybody I know has it and loves it 100%.
I'm going to tell you this right quick, and I am definitely not a hater, and I would love to. I will probably use one myself. Okay. The only thing I have seen that maybe wasn't good, something happened, and I'll tell you who it was. It was EXO.
Oh, you better watch out. You better watch out.
I know it was EXO, and his knob just quit responding, and he had to during a run, and he had to go jump in and cut everything off manually to stop it from beating down the block, right?
Yeah.
But he did that. He'd come right back. He'd come back on. Everything worked. So no big deal. But that's the only one thing I've ever seen negative about that one.
I'm telling you.
So, and I thought about that because what happens if someone walks in front of you, or you walk away and it runs away the system. So I'm assuming they built in some like safe feature for that.
His was beaten and he couldn't stop it.
Yeah. So with our system, we do have a safety shut-off switch.
Yeah.
That's something Keith put in a while back. I can press a button and it cuts the remotes off to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have that. But I need a base knob because I was doing everything old school from the head unit this entire time. One thing I love about the excursion that Keith did, man, we got 12 12s in the back of that thing, and we have 8 of them bandpass 12s, old school style, isobaric bandpass 12s in the back of that thing. So it's low. You feel it in your chest. It's like those Mexican but trucks that you see, bro. It's like bringing dust up on the ground.
Right.
It's hitting with so much snap.
Good rock music.
Yes. So we got that. So the tailgate on the back is probably one of the best sounding. It's not the loudest. It is the best sounding setup I've seen. So I'm so excited to get it back. I have down in the South, we got Mardi Gras parades that I'm going to be in with that thing. So I'm very excited to get it back. So yeah, I need feedback on a base knob and a deal. So anything I say, I'm always looking for a deal. If you don't mind, I told y'all I'm giving y'all a deal on these shows coming up. So these show subwoofers. So I need a base knob. Anything marketing, man. I'm also been looking into. We have affiliates, but I'm also looking at some affiliate game. I know there's brands out there that have a heavy affiliate game. And that's a natural way for people to help you out. You get to help them. That's a good community as long as everything works right transactionally, So the base knob, any type of marketing ideas, man, I'm always open. Of course, like the same thing, I'm always open for talking, even if I'm wrong about anything I said. And I know I had a couple typos and some things that I said throughout the video, the podcast here. And then cosmetics, man, on the excursion, I'm thinking some 20-inch bronze. I think it's fuel blitz bronze rims is what they are. So fuel blitz, and I need to find a wrap that can do it. A wrap that'll look good, a designer, I guess. But I got a place in New Orleans called PG NOLA. I think is what we're going to be planning to bring it to get it wrapped. But again, I guess I'm kind of cheap with cosmetics because I don't have confidence in myself. So I'm afraid to drop some money on things and just not like it, or you see something else that I'm just like, I wish I would have done that. But I guess in anything you do, that's always going to be a factor. But I'm throwing it out there. So people tell me where I'm wrong. Do your work. Let me know. I'll
tell you this. As far as the wrap goes, there are people, you probably find a Facebook group maybe, but there are people that just design. They'll charge you $35, $40, $50 for a design on a wrap, and just they'll process it. You just give it to your wrap guy, and they print it and put it on.
I would say reach out to Stephen Duncan. I know he's local to you, and he's got a good guy that does wrap that wrapped his van and stuff, and and he's got a good design guy down there that could probably help you out. So reach out to Stephen.
Okay. Yeah, man, I might do that, and I appreciate that.
That's Justin. I think Justin Mooch is who done that. He's at.
I think so. Yeah.
He's over in Robertsdale, and it's at Direct Signs. But he would tell you exactly what I just told you. We'll find a good wrap designer, and he print it out, put it on, kind of thing.
Yeah. So that, and then y'all mentioned design, and I meant to mention this earlier. That's why we use Baseaholics, bro. Because that's why I said you have some designs that are so dialed in that you can put any sub in there, and it's going to perform in a good to great category. Mm-hmm. So many people spend $3,000 on subs, $2,000 on amplifiers, do all this work, and then they skimp out on a $70 design.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
to me, you could almost go cheaper on everything else and then spend that $70. But it's so important that some people, when they buy a bunch of subs from us and they're asking us how to design and all that with big systems, I say, look, I'm gonna pay for the design for free, because it's
Yeah.
that important to me that
Yeah,
you
you
have
get
the
it.
right tools. And so and that's what I've done with Joe Price and a couple of people. I paid for some of our customers' designs, because to me it's just that one step further. But get a good design, and that's why I did that with the excursion with Baseaholics, because I was like, it's going to always require dialing in, but if you can get me to the 75% right range, that's a hell of a lot better than me going off to whatever rail, because a lot of these designers have done so many, and they're going to get heat if they do a bad design. You see it many times that they have some good starting points and things like that. And so, I know there's a lot of designs out there that are kind of similar, and I'm like, okay, I don't really care, but as get me close enough to where out the box I'm happy. The rest is just laying out.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, and even when it comes to, like, even the best builder out there or the best designer out there will tell you, test and tune and test and tune. I mean,
Yeah.
like me and Drew, and I know he's probably sick of hearing this, but I had a nitro just like Drew's. I took Drew's identical build and copied it and put it in mine. I tweaked it a little bit here, a little bit there. I did this, and I did some other things to my vehicle that Drew didn't do to his, and I actually gained almost 2.5, 3 dB that he did. And I completely, was a lot louder than him with the same design, but I kept tweaking and kept tuning and kept changing things and messing with it a little bit more and a little bit more, instead of just, and I don't mean to be rude by this, because I love Drew to death.
Hey, don't let him forget it, bro.
But
make sure he knows.
Just because someone gives you something doesn't mean that it's set in stone. And I always tell everybody, if you have the exact same vehicle, the exact same build, but you have a different subwoofer, or you have a different amplifier, or battery, wires, or whatever, it's not going to be the exact same. You have to do your own testing, your own tuning, and your own tweaking. You have to put that work in, and if you don't want to put that work in, then don't complain. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true.
Yeah, man. Look, I wish I had the time to do a lot of it myself, but that's why I have it, with Brandon where he's at, and it's going to be back and forth with a lot of changes over the next period of time. But I'm very excited to get out there. We're going to have quite a few vehicles at Scraping this year. So anybody who's going to be out there, hit me up. We'd love to see you. It's a fun time. I'm looking forward to it. So Billy, I don't know if you're going to be out there this year, man. Jimmy, I don't know if you're coming, but if you do, let me know for sure. Let's meet up.
Yeah, my wife's.
I'll be there.
I generally go, but I haven't been for the last 2 years, and my wife's griping at me, so I really think I plan on coming this year, yes, sir.
Please do, man.
And
Look,
I'm
planning on getting a house, renting a house somewhere. So also, anybody with any Airbnbs listening, hook me up. I need a house. I need a few bedrooms.
Right.
I need extra couches. We need to fit some people. So and we'll try our best to not disrupt the neighbors.
Right.
After 9 or 10 p.m. maybe. We'll see.
10,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, all right, sir. We'll go take care of that baby. And Jimmy, why don't you send us out of town? Why don't you send us out?
I definitely appreciate you, Will, for coming on and taking time. I know you got a busy schedule and newborns and things in your house, but just know that you're always welcome here anytime you want to just come and chit chat or hang out.
Absolutely.
Hey, invite me. I have what's that syndrome when you think everybody already knows what you know, or they know better than what you know. I don't know what it's called, but I just don't know what value I have to offer to a podcast, especially with a knowledgeable base like that, like people who follow y'all. But I'm always happy to talk and be corrected. So again, it's a conversation. That's why I always say that, people they run with some things sometimes, but I'm here to listen as well.
Yeah, right.
We definitely appreciate you, though, for sure, for sure.
And thank y'all.
All right, everybody. We definitely appreciate all you guys for watching us and hanging out with us tonight. I'd like to thank all my new viewers tonight on Kick. It looks like we're rocking at 91 still strong right now. 91.
Crazy.
So, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody for showing us love and support. And we'll see you next week. Quit Team DTX.